everyone, welcome to another episode of Raw Radiant Health, and I'm Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to talk about coconut oil. I went through something this weekend that was quite upsetting, and I thought I'd share it with you because I learned something from it. So, and I'm sure some of you out there might appreciate this information. So pretty much, I was preparing a lovely raw dessert over the weekend, and I ran out of coconut oil. So I went off to my local health food store to buy a jar of coconut oil. And when I got home, because you know, whenever I open up a jar of coconut oil, the first thing I do is I open the jar and I take a whiff of it because I love the smell of coconuts. And I opened this stuff up and it didn't smell of anything. And I was like, you know, putting my nose in it, and I'm just like, wait a minute, there is something up. What's with this coconut oil? And you know, it didn't look like it was rancid, nothing. And it didn't smell like it was rancid. So it was just missing its odor. And I started using it in my recipe, and halfway through I was just like, I can't do it. There's just something off with this stuff. And so I put it aside, and I actually did like a little Google search, and I found out that, you know, not all coconut oils, not all of them are made equally. And even if they say that they're organic, and even if they are sold at a health food store, does not mean that you're getting, like, you know, good, healthy coconut oil. And so, because, you know, there's different types of coconut oils out there, and that's what I found out this weekend, that there's extra virgin coconut oil, there's just basic coconut oil, there's hydrogenated coconut oil, there's all sorts of stuff going on. And I mean, pretty much most of the health food stores are not going to be selling hydrogenated coconut oil. I mean, I think we can trust on that they would know not to be selling something like that. But what you have to watch out for, and what I came to experience, is that they do there are organic lines of oils out there that are like, let's say with the coconut oil, pretty much the extra virgin coconut oil has an aroma. It's cold pressed, okay, and so you can smell it. And the oil is pretty much extracted right when they open up the coconut. And then there's the other coconut oil, which is just, I guess, sort of standard coconut oil, which can also be organic. But what it is that it's coconuts that are opened up, and they're actually left to dry out for, it could be weeks, it could be months, that they're drying out, and then they extract the oil. But because it's actually extracted from something that's dried out, they use a lot of high heat to extract it, and sometimes it's fermented. And what happens is, because it's a high heat, they actually, you know, the oil gets darker, and so they actually bleach the oil, and they also deodorize the oil as well, because it's under such a high heat that it smells funny. And so that's the oil that I got this weekend. And I was really upset when I saw this, because it's, you know, you trust when you go to a health food store that, like, you know, you hope to trust that they're going to sell products that are good and that are decent, and especially when you're putting down good money for it. And I was quite disheartened by the whole experience, but I decided to keep the oils to show you guys what the difference is, because you can't see the difference in the jar when it's when it's solid, but once liquid. And so you can really see the difference, that the extra virgin coconut oil, the one that's not been processed and tampered with, it's clear, right? And the other stuff that's been processed and heated and deodorized it actually is yellow. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So the one right here, that's yellow. You see, it's like compared to this one that's clear. So that's what you're looking out for. This one's bad, this one's good. And what I can, like, from my experience of using many different coconut oils, I can recommend a few products that I think are really, really good. So I recommend Bali Sun. I used to live in Bali, so gotta love their products. So Bali Sun extra virgin coconut oil is fantastic. Artisana, I've used that like forever. I mean, it's great. And Nutiva's, I love Nutiva's coconut oil, but I hate that they package it in plastic. Especially oils, you never want to buy oils that are in plastics. You want to avoid that because an oil is like a solvent, and it leaches the plastics and the chemicals out of the plastic. It's not good. So, you know, if you do buy things in plastic, at least the one thing you can do is, after you buy them, put them in glass jars, you know, like, I mean, if you can't, you know, why not cut the storage time in plastic as much as possible. So it's too bad. I wish Nutiva one day, you know, they have a beautiful product that it's like, why not put it in a beautiful glass jar? I think, you know, just add something to it, so hopefully one day they might. But other than that, stay away from buying any coconut oil that does not state that it's extra virgin. That's what you want. It has to say on the label extra virgin, it has to say it's organic, and it has to say it's cold pressed. So now I want to talk a little bit about coconut oil, because a lot of times I recommend coconut oil to clients and stuff to either put in their smoothies, or if they are doing a little bit of cooking, I suggest using coconut oil over any other oil to heat food with and to cook with. Now, I'm always asked, but isn't it bad? And, you know, aren't all tropical oils like palm oil, isn't that all supposed to be really, really bad for you and full of saturated fats and all this stuff, okay? And pretty much coconut oil has had a bad rap, and it's had a bad rap for, say, about 50 years. They did a test 50 years ago on coconut oil, but they did it on hydrogenated coconut oil. And as we know, any kind of oil that's hydrogenated, any kind of vegetable oil, any of that, if it's been tampered with that way and its molecular structure has been changed, of course it's going to be bad for you. But coconut oil itself, pure, real coconut oil, is fantastic for you. And the great thing about coconut oil is it's very stable. So unlike any other oil, it can be heated at a high temperature and not change its molecular structure. And what that means is that if it's not changing its structure, it's not going to go rancid, or it's not going to change in form when it's heated and become carcinogenic. What that pretty much means is that anything that's heated, it can become toxic because it can change its chemistry. And most oils, if you heat an oil, it does change its chemistry and it becomes not good for the human body. But coconut oil, it's a very strong, versatile oil that it's fantastic. And the other thing too is that, you know, what ended up happening is people got scared of coconut oil, and then they started using like soybean oil and corn oil as an alternative, which is a very cheap oil. And nowadays we all know most soy and most corn is GMO. And I don't think you want to be using that. And plus they're all also hydrogenated, they're very cheaply processed, and they're trans fats, and they're making everyone sick. So nowadays people are realizing they're going back to using coconut oil, which they can trust and love and enjoy. So have a fabulous, fantastic, marvelous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!